As of 23rd October 2020, out of 55,000 inmates, 3%, which is about 1,700 inmates, had tested positive for COVID-19. Since the country recorded its first case in March, 3 had succumbed to the virus. With congestion in prisons making them high risk for COVID transmission, the statistics were not too worrying. For some of those analysts, health and science reporter Saada Hassan now visited 4 prisons in Kenya and reports on COVID at one in prisons.
The ability to talk, touch, or even hug your family can be priceless. But when all of this is reduced to a single phone call, it can be depressing and thought-provoking. We take a look at life in prisons since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic here in the country. Kenyan prisons are some of the oldest facilities here in the country, with little renovation having been done in the past few years. Some date back to 1900s during the colonial times, with poor ventilation giving room to spread of tuberculosis, pneumonia, scabies, and now coronavirus. An inmate at Langata Women's Prison, whom we shall call Lydia, describes the last 1 year as heartbreaking. She longs for a day where she will set foot back in her country, Uganda, and breathe freedom in the arms of her children.
Being a foreigner, we are not allowed to make calls daily. We are allowed to make calls through Red Cross. So once in a while we make a call. It is really something that we hold on. Being separated from family is the hardest that you can ever imagine.
Rhoda Akinyi Anyim, the officer in charge at Langata Women's Prison, says that despite the challenge of ensuring social distancing within the prison during the pandemic, other measures have come in handy to prevent the spread of the virus among the inmates.
The place is congested a bit, but immediately the prisoner comes in the prison, we put them on quarantine. They stay in quarantine for 14 days.
At Nairobi Remand Prison in Industrial Area, which receives a high number of inmates, both remandees and convicts, the situation is not any different. Its quarantine and isolation wards are congested. In Mombasa County, the second most affected county in Kenya, Shimo la Tewa Prison in Shanzu, 275 inmates have tested positive so far, majority of whom were from the community.
The ones that we engaged actively on duty were the ones residing within our staff quarters.
Right now, we are at least from the regional perspective, we are at a positivity rate of 0.8.
As men here in the prison, being the breadwinners, it is stressful for them.
Inside the prison, a few kilometers apart, sits the Shimo la Tewa Boston Institution, which is a correctional facility for boys of 15 to 17 years. The facility acts as a vocational and formal center for children who are in conflict with the law.
We do have a board of visitors that comes in on quarterly basis to review the cases of the boys after they've stayed for a period of 1.5 years. After COVID came in, we were not able to hold the board. So this brought a lot of anxiety to the boys, because they were like, now, when will we go home?
Despite the challenges faced in the correctional facilities under 1 year of COVID-19 in Kenya, there are lessons that have been drawn from it.
All the positive sides of COVID-19, we have been able to partner with some of the international bodies, like the ICRC and the Kenya Red Cross Society.
Prisons have always been regarded as ticking time bombs when it comes to pandemics and epidemics. But with COVID-19 here in the country, the situation seems to be quite under control. Saada Hassan, KTN News in Mombasa County.
And KTN News' unrivaled coverage on COVID at one definitely continues in coming days. The ongoing tech